What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So could Carlos Correa soon be a Chicago Cub? Let's go talk about it. Okay, so here we go, and I know we're in a lockout right now, but listen, I'm just trying to find something to sink my teeth into, and this is pretty juicy. According to 670 The Score, the Cubs have serious interest in Carlos Correa, but don't want to go 10 years in contract length. This is pretty interesting. So if we kind of rewind a little bit, we already saw the Texas Rangers. They signed both Marcus Semien and Corey Seager to a massive 10-year contract, and Javier Baez went to the Detroit Tigers. And according to reports, the Tigers were interested in Correa, offered him 10 years, $275 million, but according to those reports, he declined the offer, and the Tigers went on to sign Javier Baez. They could still go after Carlos Correa. You could have Javier Baez play second, Correa plays short, but according to this report, it looks like the Cubs, they want Correa. So let's go take a look at this. So in this article, it says here, the Cubs have the money to sign Correa. However, the only hesitation is about the length of the deal, not the annual average value of the contract. I mean, hey, with Carlos Correa, reports have said he's had some issues with the lower back. I mean, we've known he's had some injuries in the past. If we go to his stats, if you go look at the amount of games played, in 2019, only 75 games played, 2018, 110 games played, 2017, 109 games played, 2016, he had 153 games. So he had a few seasons there where he was having trouble staying on the field, but the last couple of seasons, he's been relatively healthy and he's been rather productive. I mean, look at the season that he had last year. Hit 279, 26 home runs, had a 366 on base, a 485 slugging, a 134 WRC plus, with his defense at a 9.6. That totaled out to be a 5.8 wins above replacement on Fangraphs. If we take a look at the shortstop rankings, he ranked third among all shortstops last year. He was really solid, only behind Trey Turner and Fernando Tatis Jr. But in the fielding department, he was actually one of the best. Like I said, he had the 9.6 defensive runs above average, but he led the major leagues in defensive runs saved with 20. That led it by a mile. So Carlos Correa, the last couple of seasons, he's looked really good. I think Carlos Correa, I can understand why teams maybe don't want to go that length of a deal. I mean, it's pretty hard to go that length of a deal with anyone, but with Carlos Correa especially, like I said, he's had the injuries in the past, but I'm wondering if maybe the Cubs, maybe they'll go maybe that 7th or 8th year, possibly, maybe, you know, have some incentives in there, maybe have some buyouts in there, and maybe they can kind of meet in the middle somewhere. With the Chicago Cubs, they have had a pretty busy offseason so far. If we take a look here, so far they have signed Marcus Stroman. They also signed Yan Gomes as well. So Carlos Correa, I mean, to me, I don't think a lot of people really expected, you know, the Cubs to go hard after a big free agent like this. But if you think about it, it makes some sense. It can really help accelerate their retooling phase that they're going through. Now, they do have Nico Hoerner at short. You could put Correa at short, and with Nico Hoerner, you could move him to an outfield spot. If you take a look, last year, he played other positions as well. He played 30 games at second base. I mean, actually, he only played 12 games at shortstop last year, but he did play 3 games in left field. He also played a couple of games in center field, even played 1 game at third base. So Nico Hoerner is a young player. He can move around. So Carlos Correa could absolutely fit. I really think he would be awesome for the Cubs. I mean, sure, there are some other teams out there that really could use his services. If we go take a look here at teams that could use a shortstop, well, the Angels are one team that could absolutely use a shortstop. As of right now, they're only projected to have Tyler Wade as their starting shortstop, so they really could use another shortstop out there, especially one with a good glove, considering they ranked near the bottom at defense at shortstop last year. So I think a shortstop would be great for the Angels, and hey, we all know they like to spend big money on those position players, but if I'm looking at some other teams, the Yankees, I don't know, according to reports, it seems like they're okay with going with a stopgap kind of a guy until guys like Anthony Volpe, Oswald Peraza are ready to fully take on the job. You know, which one of them ends up being the guy. We don't know that yet. Probably Anthony Volpe. They seem to be enamored with him. So it seems like the Yankees are probably going to move on. The Astros, they have Jeremy Pena, who played pretty well in the minor leagues last year, has a great glove. And it seems like they're hesitant to go more than that 6-year offer that they offered him. I believe it was 6 years, $150 million. But Carlos Correa, he's looking for that big 10-year contract. There's also a team like the Dodgers. The Dodgers right now, they have Trey Turner at shortstop. They got him in the trade last year with Max Scherzer. He'll be a free agent after this season, but maybe it would be a good thing for the Dodgers to bring in a shortstop like this. You can move Trey Turner to move him to second, and if Trey Turner ends up leaving after this season in free agency, well, Carlos Correa, I mean, there you go. You got him for short, so you're going to be fine. I think there's a few teams here that really could go after Correa, but with the Cubs, I mean, it could make some sense. As of right now, they're only projected to be in the bottom half in the major leagues next year with Nico Horner as their starting shortstop. So, yeah, this would obviously make the team better. It would make them a way better team, especially in a National League Central that's pretty up in the air right now. Another thing with the Cubs, though, while I do think an addition like Carlos Correa would be really nice for them, I still think they need to address the starting pitching. Marcus Stroman, getting him was a nice add. He's going to add some valuable innings, but the rest of the rotation is a bit of a question mark. Sure, Wade Miley, he's going to give you some innings. I did like that pickup for them. But Kyle Hendricks, a pretty down season last year. He will give you innings, so that's a good thing. I just feel like Marcus Stroman, to me, he's more of like a number 2 in your rotation. If you can go add someone, I really think that would be huge for them. Now, if you take a look at the starting pitching market, there is not too much out there. I mean, you got guys like Clayton Kershaw, Carlos Rodon here at the top, but Kershaw, I mean, who knows what he ends up doing. Probably ends up going back to the Dodgers. But he's a bit of a health risk. Carlos Rodon, he had stuff going on with his shoulder. He's always been a bit of a health risk. We do have some other sure things down here. I mean, you got maybe someone like Yusei Kikuchi, where he had a tough second half last year, but he could come in and give you some innings. But then there's also maybe someone like Matthew Boyd. Sure, he had some arm troubles at the end of the season last year, but he's someone you could probably bring him in for pretty cheap. So I do think even if the Cubs bring in someone like a Carlos Correa, they really do need to bring in some pitching as well. I do like the bullpen. I think they have some pretty good arms there. They do have some younger arms as well. Someone like Braylon Marquez is a name to keep an eye out for. Big fastball, but he was going through some shoulder issues last year. But according to recent reports from MLB.com, about over a month ago, it was saying that he's participating in a throwing program right now. So hopefully they can get him back on track for spring training. That'd be great if you can get this guy in the rotation at some point. Either way, though, Carlos Correa, this would be a huge pickup for the Chicago Cubs if they end up doing it. So I'm wondering, though, it's going to come down to, are they going to go more years? That's going to be a big thing. But we do know with the Cubs, they can definitely afford it because, hey, they got rid of pretty much everyone. They cleared a ton of money off the books. As of right now, only projected to have a $130 million payroll. Really, their only big contracts are going to the newly signed Marcus Stroman. Jason Hayward, you still have him for a couple of years. But after that, I mean, you're good to go when it comes to some of these other guys. I mean, Wilson Contreras is also going to be a free agent after this year. I think it would be good if they could bring him back, get him extended. But you will be having some guys coming off the books. Wade Miley would come off the books after this year. So Carlos Correa, I think if you can, meet somewhere in the middle, maybe not the 10-year deal, maybe he'll go for like a 7 or 8 year deal. Because, hey, the Cubs, they're okay with giving him maybe, who knows, 30, 31 million AAV. But they just don't want to go that 10 years. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you think the Cubs should go after Carlos Correa? Do you think they should offer him 10 years? What kind of a contract would you offer Carlos Correa? But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.